Hello, my name is Lacey Hoffman, and this is my portfolio project video presentation for crisis intervention. I will be talking about how I use the hybrid model of crisis intervention steps for my given scenario of Marie and her family. The first step was predispositioning, engaging, and initiating contact. The way that I believe I initiated contact with Marie was with my questions. I asked her 5 questions, which were: have you ever had or do you currently think about self-harm or suicide? Are you fearful of your husband being released from jail? Can you tell me when you decided this specific plan of carrying it out? What pushed it to this point? And what are some things that make life worth living? And lastly, do you have a plan for yourself? The next step is problem exploration. The problems that Marie had told me and the ones that I examined myself were: she has children in the mix of all of this, and she has chronic pain. She has had verbal fights and it has gotten physical with her husband, moving because of job loss, no medication for her depression and pain due to losing insurance. Her husband's been going to the bar and drinking a lot. She's also suicidal and had an idea to carry it out and overdose. And her children were taken from her by CPS. The third step is providing support. I provided support for Marie by helping her find services for her situation, doing a home visit and checking on her because it was very obvious I was the only support that she had had in this time of her life. Sometimes it's someone on the outside of our family / friends that will give us the best support we need. The next step, step 4, examining alternatives. Examining alternatives with Marie was by asking her the questions that I did, getting her to talk about what makes life worth living. Her kids would be an alternative way of thinking of, instead of thinking about suicide because things have become traumatic. She needs to think about how she and we can fix this together. And she needs to know it's not going to be like this forever, and she just has to ask for help. Number 5, planning. The services that I recommended for not only Marie, but her and her family was counseling for Marie and her depression and suicidal thoughts, state help for insurance so she could get therapy and it could be covered, along with the medication, and when she gets her children back, they will need insurance too. I also recommended a marriage counselor, so if Marie decides to stay with her husband, they can resolve what had happened. Or if she is not wanting to be with her husband any longer, I would recommend finding a lawyer or filing divorce and finding a cheap divorce lawyer for her, or even a pro bono lawyer. Lastly, regarding her children, I would recommend calling the CPS, Child Protection Services, so they can give her steps in ways that she can get her child back into her own custody. Number 6, obtaining commitment. I would assume that Marie would take my advice in getting help from the services I recommended to her. It would be in her best interest and her family's best interest, so there's no doubt in my mind that she will get the help she deserves and needs. Number 7 is the last step of the hybrid model. There was no scenario about a follow-up, so I just made one up myself. After Marie obtained commitment, I met with her a month later, and Marie had seemed brand new. She was in the process of getting her children back By going to counseling, she had visitation and steps that the CPS had told her to take, which was to get a stable job and attend counseling. Although not everything was perfect just yet, it was a bigger step forward for Marie. Marie was still on the edge about continuing her relationship with her husband, whom was getting out of jail soon. I assured her that everything would be okay, and if she truly was scared, then I would get her protection. Marie said that she was leaning towards doing marriage counseling for the sake of having her family back. That is the end of my video presentation and the way that I applied the hybrid model to my scenario. Thank you.